Yeah. Here we go. Hello, you wonderful people. Connor Whitmore here again with another video for you on the Nawtystep channel. And it's time for the fourth and final video of Yearly Favourites Week 2020 as I bring you my top 50 bass singles of the year. Not many rules to get through here before we get going. One track per artist, but I am saying that you can have tracks as different aliases. So, for example, you could have a Skrillex tune and a Dogblood tune, and each one has to be at least 2 minutes long. Here, going from 50 to number 1, and another 50 honourable mentions to kick things off here beforehand, and then with the main list, gonna breeze through 50 to 30, and then talk about them more as I go on. Once more, this is solely my opinion, one opinion, not giving any definitive or objective views here, simply my personal picks of 2020, that's all, and I want to hear what your favourite bass tracks of the year are in the comments down below. Drop them all, let's get the discussion going, that is the best part. But yes, kicking off with the honourable mentions for the best bass singles or originals of 2020, a big round 50, listed in alphabetical order by way of artist name. Coming up right now, see you all in a bit. Okay, hope you enjoyed that. Quite a stealthy honourable mentions list, I'm sure you will agree, and also I'm sure quite a few there that you recognised and even love. But now moving on to the main list, and at number 50 we have Shift Key with They Wanna Know. At number 49 we have Hugh K with Alarm Song. At number 48 we have Sesko with Bomba, and at number 47 Digitist with Laser Rock. At number 46 we have Proxima with Break the Beans. At number 45 Bronson, Keep Moving. At number 44, Copandorum, Fade to Black with Orifice Volgatron. And at number 43, Matt Zoe with The Next Chapter. At number 42, Valak by No Sphere. At number 41, Unreachable by Stabby. At number 40, T78 and Raito with Acid People. And at number 39, Amatune by Belcore. Coming in at number 38, we have Minesweeper with Thoughts. At number 37, Swarm and Sounder with Eat Me Alive. At number 36, we have Veer with Jerk Off. And at number 35, we have Infect with Into Pieces. At number 34, we have Gydra with Hangjaw. At number 33, Party Favor with Happy. At number 32, Little Texas and Danny L. Harler with Dreaming. And at number 31, OPUO and Vorso with Dusty Bugs. At number 30, we have Dancing 2020 by IO, a larger-than-life techno track, a super dark, brooding energy kind of propelling it forward, and a catchy vocal sample to go with that. Slowly takes over you, and yeah, this one, it just makes me really miss the live experience, you know, and for probably the last time on the channel, R.I.P. Garrett, I hope you're resting easy. At number 29, we have Convulsion Therapy from More Kismet, my pick from a wonderful EP, Revenge of the Unicorns, and yeah, this one just a complete whirlwind of sound and emotion. You know, blissful, then gnarly, then sad, hopeful, and all of that again within the space of around 4 minutes or so, I think it is. But yeah, execution, mad sharp, and a real journey front to back. At number 28, we have Self Love by Asora and Trinergy. One of the most monstrous melodic dubstep songs I've ever heard, definitely all year. You know, a great combination of styles here, and the vocal just draped over it so beautifully, and a nice array of drop ideas here with that thwack just running through the heaviness the whole way through, and fucking yeah, it's good. At number 27 we have We Are The Energy from Metric. my pick from a truly fantastic album, one with a lot of pendulum flavour to it, and this would be the peak of that on the album. The force of the production and the welcoming lead line we get here make for just such a fucking deadly combination, and it's just Horizon D&B, I like to call it. The sun rises with it. At number 26, got to give it to Dubplate by Vellum, mile and away the most outright savage bass house track I heard all year. A relentless energy to it, a top vocal sample, a wild mix of sounds, put together really well. It's pure hype. At number 25, we have Jay Robinson with Know Yourself, featuring none other than Idris Elba, actor Idris Elba, who I never thought that I'd be mentioning here in a yearly favourites video on a bass music channel. But, you know, here we are. His coarse vocal delivery, I think, perfectly matches the minimalist dark house that we get from Jay Robinson. You know, it's a real scene setter, this one. Very moody and elusive and quite creepy as well, actually, but in a good way. You know, very effective with what it delivers. But yeah, keeps it simple, which is why it's so powerful. At number 24, we have Don't Talk by Malar. Rare, I think, that a house tune just really gets my stank face going, you know. One of them, just one of them, but this one really does get it going. The depth and body of the production here and super solid drop ideas to go with that just completely throw you, and yeah, how can you not move along to this fucking banger? It's just so fat, gets me fully vibing. At number 23, we have Lose Control by Frankie Nuts and Danica Nadeau. One of the most beautiful vocal and instrumental combos I heard all year. The melodic dubstep here just repeatedly surging up right through to the top of the tune, and all the feeling just shimmering upwards with it. It's beautiful. The elements here just work together so well for the most part. The flow and movement of it is great as well, and Danica just hitting all those right notes. It's lovely. At number 22, we have Vengeance by Dr. Rosie and Chime, a collaboration that I must admit I never saw coming, and which really delivered the goods, I think, in my opinion. Hence why it places here. Very genuine meld of their styles, I think. The fun of each one kind of coming to the fore and combining really well. Off the wall drops, a great main vocal sample, top musicality, emphatic, and yeah, really, really good. But I also do want to shout out Play It Back Again by Dr. Rosie, which was just edged out here. Also fantastic, you know, thinking about the vocal sample in particular in that one, really good. But yeah, just about edged out here by Vengeance. At number 21, we have Andy the Core and Lem X with No Rules. My favourite hardcore track of the year, the most authentic serving of the genre that I got or heard in 2020. High octane drops with a very catchy vocal to go with it. The stunning freeze frame moment that we get in the midsection, kind of bringing it back down to earth and providing a bit of fragility at that point, which I think is a very interesting direction for it to take. And the structure, very rounded, and a real method here behind the madness, you know, manic but also measured, which, you know, something that people level against hardcore, that it just sounds a bit random, a bit too much. But yeah, this one has a good kind of consideration to it, and yeah, I love it. At number 20, Hot 44 from Bauer, my favourite tune from my favourite album of the year, capturing the feeling of revolt and uprising running through the whole thing, the whole album, that being one of the darkest and eeriest on the album, I would say, which is a nice change of direction for it at that point, I think. And I just love the jump of this tune overall, the atmosphere of it, and it just feels so much bigger than you, you know, gargantuan, like it could swallow you whole and spit you back out again. And, you know, it's not just a wall of booming noise, it's actually very cleverly assembled as well, I would say. All the while, though, that primal, animalistic flavour just driving it forward. It's infectious stuff. At number 19, we have Follow Me by Drac, another big room techno banger, a genre that I think, anyway, took off in a big way in 2020, and this was one of the best I heard from that style. This one, just that bit more devilish, that bit earthier, more ferocious, if you will. And you know that thing when you're hearing a tune and you get used to it and you yourself become a part of that tune, or it becomes a part of you, and kind of vice versa. That's definitely what I get here. And yeah, the production's mad powerful, drops are mammoth-like, they're so big, and the progression of it is insane. And nothing more needs saying, it's fucking good. At number 18, we have Reckless by Yellow Claw, a perfect example of pretty unremarkable with the ideas, but all the elements here just work together so well that it's pretty difficult to put down. The drops have the exact right amount of impact to them, and Fat Man Scoop's vocal here just fits the instrumental like a glove. And it just chugs away very impressively. The definition of the production really keeps you locked in, and for what it is, completely spot on. Doesn't put a foot wrong. Number 17, we have Au5 and Jetto with Melt, featuring Christina Soto. A compelling marriage here of melody and dubstep. Not often that Au5 gets it wrong in that department, of course, but, you know, here he really does bring the flavour along with Jetto. The instrumental has a really fervent and burning feel to it. All this colour just really radiating off it. Beautiful stuff, and the vocal is superb, kind of cascading over you for the whole thing. That thing like Danica Nadeau before, of just hitting the exact right notes, and I love it for that. Another near mind-blowing combination of elements that we get right here. At number 16, we have Shenzhen by Nitty Gritty and Yako. Always a couple of standout hybrid trap and freeform tunes every year in my opinion, and this is one of them. A fantastic mix here of wubs and snappy percussion, very sharply put together, and the breakdown we get here for the second drop is definitely one of the best switches in tempo that I heard all year. And I love the mystifying vibe of the surrounding sections as well. Very composed and measured in the construction, considering just how much is going on here. Yeah, and you know, when freeform trap has this kind of energy behind it, it really is unstoppable. At number 15, we have Beaver Fever by Chi, my pick from another one of my favourite EPs of the year. His jagged and angled style here in full flow, and I just love the way that he takes you out of the experience and launches you right back in. Kind of like being repeatedly dunked underwater and then yanked right back up to get breath, and an amazing respect here of timing. The management of every moment is so good, just really well managed, and the bass is so thick and textured, each hit like a smack in the face, and yeah, it's really good. At number 14, Screaming Divas by Bush Baby. Another brilliant house tune, got the warmth and fuzziness of the bass kind of propping it up. The groove and flow of it is fantastic. The vocal running over the top is lovely. And he just keeps it really interesting, whilst the ideas and samples remain practically the same, and a really organic feel to the mix of elements here. A lot of naughty fun on show, just a massive vibe. At number 13, we have Need Your Love by Dawn Demond, a brilliant melodic dubstep track. You know, another here that for me, just for what it is, has everything. Super emphatic drops that are really well produced, a memorable vocal sample, melodic interlude moments that fit in seamlessly, and the yoys. I mean, God, how I've needed a good yoy in my life, and they're really delivered here. The heaviness kind of making me feel like Thanos when he puts on the Infinity Gauntlet, and yeah, just epic in feel without being that drawn out in its structure. Yeah, just so pure and beautiful and great. At number 12, we have Hotpot by Wewek. I mean, whoever knew that melding big room techno and jungle terror would make such a great mix, but that is what we get here. I feel like the king of the jungle hearing this tune, you know, that bass coursing through my body and the tribal theme to go with it. The mix of carnival colour and bass ferocity that I think is just a match made in heaven. Like, it's really good. Really works. Like, I mean, on the surface you might be like, I don't know, but nah, genuinely really works. You know, some of the best vocal chopping I've heard this year as well, layered over the top of that instrumental, and yeah, pure fun, pure joy, but super naughty as well, and I love this idea and this tune so much. At number 11, we have Hold My Hand by Alec Benici, one of my very top house songs of the year, no doubt. Such a devilishness running through the whole thing. Those vocal stabs just get me every single time. I love how they jab at you, fire out at you, really well done. Got a nice second drop switch as well, you know, the midsection, brilliant, vocal samples, top notch, and just a really guttural feel to it. Gets you right in the stomach. quite swampy and underground, muddy, just, yeah, turning you right inside out in a good way, I promise. And yeah, just very well crafted overall, and it really gets me going. Okay, top 10, and kicking that off, we have Seven Lions with Only Now, which has, for me, the best vocal of 2020 from Tyler Graves, and the heavenly chills that that vocal has given me, you know, right from the very beginning, the first time I heard it, and, you know, more and more as I've heard it again and again, just so beautiful. But, you know, of course, wouldn't be anything without the grand and theatrical instrumental that we get from Seven Lions, the musical progression of which just completely supports the vocal in such an incredible way, and even with the trance drop that we get at the end, just such a pure and organic combination. You know, I'm gonna have to say it would be higher if the production was just that bit better in the dubstep, you know, that bit more rounded and full, but genuinely everything else is perfect, you know, the ideas and how they're brought together with the vocal as well, as I said. So yeah, otherworldly, dreamlike, ethereal, and just a beautiful, beautiful song. At number 9, my favourite D&B track of the year, bringing together everything I love about the genre and more, and that is Air I Breathe by Subfocus and Wilkinson. And I mentioned it in the albums video, just such an effortless class to everything they put out on that album, and this tune, for me, being the pinnacle of that. It just feels so chilled and laid back, but just also provides so much in terms of feeling. The production is full and defined, the vocal euphoric, and the builds as well are very mosh pit worthy, you know, really getting me hyped up for being in a fat old mosh pit at a festival, seeing that big open circle and just wanting to get right into it. God, I fucking miss festivals. But anyway, moving on here, the drops, clean and simple, and it just listens like a story whilst also getting me really pumped up. The best of both producers here meshed into one, and everything about it just works so well. After that, number 8, we have the most outright sweet and joyous and uplifting bass track that I loved in 2020. One that I was instantly captivated by, and I could tell from the first listen that it was going to be for me, that it was going to stick with me forever, and that tune is Supercars by Wolfgang Gartner. You just can't not find the bounce and attitude of this thing just completely infectious, from the vocoder vocal running through it, which is one just fat hit of serotonin after another, to the instrumental, which is upbeat, vibrant, boisterous, just such a good blend, again, of elements. Like, they all work together really well. The musicality of it is spot on, progresses really well, a mad swagger to it, and just the purest form of happiness with the naughtiness lurking beneath. It's loads of fun. At number 7, now, as you all know, I've had my issues with metallic, stomping rhythm, but I've always said, I've always maintained that when done right, it really is incredible, and just giving you that colossal feeling of power, you know, feeling like you've got a beast right by your side. And I really, really get that, you know, in a big way with Suffer by Discurs and Flicks. Far too often with this kind of music, the production just does not have the necessary force to make it impactful. Just what's the point if you can't really feel it, if it doesn't properly move you? And that's what we get here, you know, the power of the production really shining through, actually having the right amount of body to it to really, really move you. Simple ideas that just carry so much weight, you know, authentic dubstep power. And that's what we get when the production is actually good, when it has the right amount of force and thwack beneath it. The vocal samples, the horns, the little drum snippets to go with that, very evil, and it all just comes together so well. Every time my body just feeling like it's being taken over, that I'm overcome. So angry and demonic and hellish in the most beautiful way. Coming in at number 6, we have a song that I would never have expected to put so high here. The best song I've heard from this producer yet, bar none, you know, no doubt. Like a weird trip through the mind, and I definitely can't say that I heard anything like it in 2020. And that song is Psychonaut by Liquid Stranger. Again here, the power of great ideas being unleashed with clean and sharp production. 3 completely different drops, functioning really well alongside one another, all with a quirky, alien-like flavour running through them. It's really odd, but the ideas are great, and it kind of reminds me of the film Midsummer in a weird way. You know, the vocal aspect we get is quite regal, and it feels like I'm slowly being lured towards this weird world, like a ritual, kind of, you know, bringing me into a kind of cult or something like that. But anyway, I love it. The first build, by the way, maybe being my favourite of the year. Very unnerving and tense, really well done. And as I said, it's kind of like a trip, but in the best way, if that's possible, you know. That is what we get here. Following on from there, number 5, another fantastic collaboration. One that I actually had down as a bit of a dream collab before it happened, and which I didn't think would happen, but it did, and it really delivered in a lot of ways. An accurate reflection, I would say, of their combined styles, yeah, for sure. And that tune is Power Move by Peekaboo and ISOXO. Yeah, quite simply, this is two different approaches working together really well, the potential being fully realised, and one that I feel they must have had a lot of fun putting together. The freeform of Peekaboo and the trappy bleep bloop of ISOXO just infused into each other so well, so effectively, and you can just hear the input from each of them that they each had on this tune very clearly, and the drops are fun and really well cut. It's built and constructed really well, just so tight and together, and a great awareness from them both of when to do what and how. Just every sound here pushing itself to the forefront, just trying to take your attention. And yeah, pretty much just all we could wish for from them. It's so expertly done. Okay, number 4 now, moving closer. And we have the final collaboration here. My favourite collaboration of the year, and one that just had to happen at some point. Again, really delivered, and sometimes styles are quite similar, and you doubt how they're going to work together. But yeah, not the case here. They bounce off each other so well and work together so well, and that tune is Ruckus by Tramper and Marauder. This is just straight up knockout gargantuan dubstep, plain and simple, looming over you like a dark cloud at the beginning, and then unleashing an absolute barrage of sound. You know, the drops we get here hitting extremely hard because the production just fully unleashes the ideas in such a good way, and a good range of vocal samples dropped in at the perfect moments too, giving it an extra kind of flavour to keep it ticking along. And it really works, I think, having the Marauder bass or structure with bits of Tramper worked in, whereas I think the other way around might not have worked quite as well. But yeah, it's just so impactful, so much force behind it, so much going on, and it sounds so good all the while. You know, it could have been longer, the midway point in particular, could have been a bit more drawn out to make it a bit more epic, which maybe would have put it higher here. But, you know, what we do get is so fucking bone-crushing. It's massive, and at the end it says it was a cold-blooded, premeditated murder, and I genuinely cannot think of a more accurate vocal sample in terms of what it does to the listener. It's so accurate, and I just hear it at the end, and I'm like, well, yup. Following on from there, number 3, I'm going to tone it down a bit now and get away momentarily from the outright heaviness and savagery and veer towards something a bit lighter, a bit more soothing, more reflective, you know, still bass music, still dark electronic music, but yeah, just something a bit more somber that we can, yeah, calm the collection and list down with a bit, and that is Opal by Direct. This is almost one that I prefer to leave as is without talking about too much. Such is the impact it's had on me, the emotion it inspires in me. Almost too much to fully articulate, I would say, and definitely the most moving original I've heard in 2020. You know, just when I hear it, the whole thing, I've got the most intense shivers, you know, running down my spine. Even thinking about it now, you know, a very time-stopping quality to it, and it provides a window, I think, into self-exploration and reflection through the vocal sampling and the very rich and full production, enveloping you like a big warm blanket on a very cold day, and doing a good job of shutting you off from the world and just inviting you right into its delicacy and fragility. A really raw melancholy here and sense of loneliness to it that, yeah, I just didn't find elsewhere at all this year. And the best of an unforgettable EP for me personally, my favourite of the year. And I've said it before, but sad, reflective bass music just needs way more appreciation. And I'm gonna leave it at that. At number 2, Almost definitely the most divisive bass tune of 2020. One that shook the scene when it came out, when it dropped in May, and one that I've been wowed by over and over and over, as I've heard it again and again and again throughout the year. An absolutely fantastic concept track. And yeah, you know what I'm going to say. You know, I can feel you knowing. I can feel you guessing, but this one, I think you know before I've said it. And that tune is Polyrhythm by Phonon. At a time when the boredom with dubstep music was becoming truly overbearing, all the lifeless aspects of it rising further and further to the top, up stepped 18-year-old Phonon, who with Polyrhythm unleashed dubstep in a way that it just hadn't been before. A song that not only transitions in and out of completely different BPMs and time signatures, but also weaves in a strong jazzy element when it comes to the note placement in the heaviness. I mean, please show me a song like it in the modern era. It isn't just madly clever, it's also extremely likeable. Different kinds of musicality on show, the overall jumpiness of it, the catchy ideas, the transitioning techniques, and the overall decision making throughout just make it as fun and off the wall and unpredictable as possible. Mile and away the most interesting dubstep oriented song of the year. And I feel like you just have to get it. It just has to click with you. A proper boundary pusher with which he not only announced himself, but also gave others a new license to make whatever they feel like making. I feel like with Polyrhythm, a lot of shackles were broken and let loose. And, you know, following M and a couple others here and there, which he's put out, I just cannot wait to see what else he has in store. Coming in at number 1, we have a song that we all love and cherish and enjoy, and that is Site Zero with Oak Snare. No, I mean, just kidding, but can you imagine? But no, my actual number 1, and you may be wondering, damn, you know, which song does he like more than Polyrhythm? One that I have raved about quite a lot over the course of the year, Polyrhythm, and yeah, well, which one? Which one could I possibly like more than that? But there is one artist who, if you've been watching carefully, you may have noticed I haven't mentioned yet. My number 1 pick from one of my albums of the year, and my definite 100% number 1 track of 2020. A tune that I just find so hard to skip in any way. It's irresistible, and I love it so much. And that is On Fire by Joyride. Wow. I mean, this tune, where do I even begin? I must have heard it around 100 times this year, and I genuinely never got bored of it in one way at all, you know, not even one bit, which is mad when you think about it, you know. Logic would suggest that, you know, when you hear something that much, you're going to get at least a bit bored of it. But genuinely, I really haven't at all. And I mentioned it earlier, but I really do find it impossible to skip in any way. It just pulls me right in from the very first second. That steel drum opening with the bass line, the punchy percussion, absolutely god tier, and the way that the groove of the first drop kind of smiles along with you, you know, really cheeky, pure naughtiness, and then the midsection following that, building it back up in this really on-edge way. The second drop gradually bringing it back to the attitude of the first one and finishing at that divine moment, the holiness kind of crescendoing right to the top. It's just completely fucking orgasmic, momentous stuff, all the while so unbelievably well cut, vocal chops gliding over the beat so finely, and it really did take my understanding of good production to another level altogether, and I'm being completely serious when I say that. How tight and concise it is, well packaged, and the transitioning in and out of one feeling into another. It's just, I mean, how can you not love it? If someone was to tell me, I really don't like this tune, I really don't know what I would do, but I would be super confused and befuddled, bemused, whatever you want to call it. It's just, you know, the clue's in the title. It's on fire. This song is on fire, blazing from the first second to the last. It's just full flow Joyride. The idea and the production functioning in complete unison. And yeah, fully, wholeheartedly, no one track that I've enjoyed outright more in 2020. But there we have it, my top 50 bass singles of 2020, the 4th and final video of Yearly Favourites Week 2020. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for tuning in, and not only to this video, but all of them. You know, I hope you enjoyed them. Took a lot of work, a lot of planning, and a lot of passion, But yeah, I hope that came off, and yeah, that you enjoyed this series and got something from it, found some music, enjoyed the videos, whatever. But yeah, now the fun part. Be sure to leave a comment with your thoughts on my list, and also with your favourite singles or originals of 2020 in bass music. Which ones did I miss out? And again, what did you make of my top 50? Drop all of your views, thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. Just going to mention this now. Earlier on in the week we had best remixes, EPs and albums of the year in bass music. Check them out if you haven't already. I will be linking them just here. And also beyond that, just want to say, I know it's been a long year and an awful one at that, but thank you all so much, you know, so much for all of your support on the channel. It's been keeping me going, and I hope it's been a source of happiness for all of you in these dark times. Again, in what has been quite a bad year, a dreadful year, and I will be doing a couple more vids before the year's up, but for now, I'm going to go and sleep for 100 hours and have the Christmas week off as usual, which is what I always do. But yeah, Merry Christmas to all of you. I hope it's a good one for all of you and that you are resting well and keeping safe. But beyond that, keep it naughty. If it's naughty, then you know, and I shall see all of you legends in the next one, whatever it may be. Peace.